Hello, my name's Katie Lewis and I'm the head of MFL at Pearson Edexcel. In this short video, I'm going to talk to you about the key differences between our draft and accredited GCSE French qualification, specifically focused on the listening and reading assessments. So overall, there are no changes between the draft and accredited versions of the listening papers in terms of the structure, the timing, or the number of marks. As you know, our main overriding motivation in developing this qualification has been to create something accessible and compassionate for students. So we are super pleased that all of the key student-centred aspects of our listening assessments have been retained in our accredited papers. One of the key features of that is obviously the 3 listens in the listening paper, so you can be reassured that the 3 listens have been accredited. So likewise with the reading paper, there aren't any changes to the overall structure, timing or marks for the reading paper. So I've already mentioned that the 3 listens has been accredited, along with other features which we've built into our listening exam to make this a compassionate assessment for students. So the appropriate pausing and the chunking of the extracts so that students don't need to retain such a significant amount of information before they answer the question. You will, of course, notice a few differences between the draft and the accredited versions. So you'll notice that there have been some amendments to the transcripts and their associated questions in some of the listening materials. That's been done to ensure the correct level of demand for each question, or perhaps to correct some small errors or typos that may have been in the draft versions. In the word cloud questions, you'll notice we've added an extra word. That's to ensure that we maintain the ratio of 1 answer from a possible 3, even as the students start to answer the question. You'll notice that we've grouped the words within the word cloud in the order that they will be used. For the dictation, we have retained our compassionate and forgiving approach to the marking, but we've updated the mark scheme, and I'm going to show you how we have done that in order to make it better. So for the dictation mark scheme, we will still be rewarding students for individual words spelled appropriately, which demonstrate their knowledge of the sound symbol correspondences. The number of rewardable words will be given a mark on a sliding scale of 1 to 10. And we've made that change to our mark scheme after listening to your feedback on our draft specifications. You told us it would be quicker and easier for you to mark the dictation in this way. What we wanted to make sure, though, is that we maintain the different categories of rewardable words, because this is not a spelling test, and French is really tricky when it comes to the different ways that the same sounds can be written. So we will be rewarding words which are spelled accurately, just as they are in the transcript, but we will also be accepting words which have a grammatical or morphological inaccuracy where that error doesn't change the pronunciation of the word. For example, je veux, je veux. It's not the student's fault that in French those 2 things sound the same. We'll also be accepting spelling inaccuracies where this doesn't change the pronunciation of the word and the word is still recognizable. So double consonants in adore instead of adore, for example, or an additional E on the end of sir instead of sir. They sound exactly the same. So there aren't any changes in the reading with regards to our use of supportive images or familiar contexts, and there aren't any changes to our approach to the inference question. You will notice amendments to the text themselves and their associated questions in some of the reading materials. That was done to ensure the correct level of demand for each question, make sure the texts were within the correct word counts, or correct any small errors or typos, for example. As with the listening, you'll notice we've added an extra word into the word cloud questions. That's been done to ensure that the ratio of 1 answer from a possible 3 is always maintained, even as the students start to answer the question. You'll notice as well that we've grouped the words within the cloud in the order that they will be used. So finally, just to confirm for the reading and the listening both, there are no changes to the consistency of the structure of those papers. So always the same question type in the same place for the same number of marks. And there aren't any changes to our approach to the inclusion of names, proper nouns, and unfamiliar cultural content.